take the turkey out of the brine in the middle of the night.
What do
In
you
our
call fake
teeny,
spaghetti?
tiny little apartment with, yeah, it
And
was
pasta.
a disaster.
Right.
I have a 10:59.
That's good.
I always call Desiree up at least once a week and give her a joke.
That's good.
Usually Friday afternoon.
So yeah, Friday afternoons, I wait for that call.
Yeah.
That's my cue for the weekend, Jimmy.
Right. Yeah. That's, you hang up.
But they're always very dry jokes.
Well, I don't know. I think they're hysterical. There are some
He
that,
delivers them in the dry.
Yeah. You gotta have to deliver it seriously.
That's right.
Yeah.
I heard.
all right, I have 11 o'clock, so if you can go ahead. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first Recreation Committee meeting of the year. It is 11 a.m., Monday, January 10th, 2022. We are meeting at Council Chambers, 1207 Palm Boulevard. The public is able to view this meeting virtually via the city's YouTube page. And folks are also able to submit public comment that goes directly to the committee via a form that we have online. This meeting has been duly notified to the press and the public in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act. And the first order of business is the election of the chair and vice chair. Are there any nominations for the office of chair?
I nominate Kevin Popson.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion about the nomination? Are there any other nominations? There being none, all those in favor for Councilmember Popson to serve as chair of the Recreation Committee, please vote by vote in favor by signifying aye.
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 All right, nobody opposed. Chair, I leave, you can take over the meeting now with any nominations for the office of vice chair.
Okay, thank you, Desiree. Do we have any nominations for vice chair?
I nominate Katie Myers.
I second it. Any discussion?
Thanks.
She's the most qualified.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thanks, you too.
Congratulations. both.
All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of previous meetings minutes.
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Any changes? Any additions? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, citizens' comments. Do we have any citizens' comments? Okay, thank you. Next item agenda, department report from Director Page.
Good
Norma
morning.
Jean, take it over.
Thank you. You should have a report in front of you. I think the city administrator sent that out last week, so I hope you had a chance to review it. I'm just going to hit some highlights. Nothing much has changed. We still continue with our programming. As you know, we have a teenagers group, which is our seniors. We meet the first Wednesday of every month, and we're averaging around 30 to 40 for those. And we have a luncheon that we provide now. Due to COVID, we've taken over those responsibilities. Our Holiday Street Festival was very successful. I hope all of you were able to attend that on December the 4th. We had our Santa cookie workshop. We did 2 different workshops so we could properly social distance the children. So we had over 65 children to attend, about 33 in each group. Upcoming events, our Doggy Day will be coming up on February the 12th. Registration begins today for that event. We have 5 categories that your dogs can compete in, and Councilman Ward, we hope that you'll put your dog in there. At least I know we'll see them for the vaccinations. We'll have vaccinations and an opportunity to have your dogs chipped if they have not been chipped. Also, we'll have some rescues there. If someone's looking for a dog, that's a good place to get it with the rescues. Our Front Beach Fest is scheduled for March the 5th. That's typically beach music, and we booked the bands for that. We have the Pink Slips and also the Holiday Band. So we'll look for a fun day shagging on Front Beach. There'll also be arts and crafts vendors. Our local restaurants will be given the opportunity to serve food there, and we'll subsidize that with other food vendors. Our community yard sale is going to be on March the 26th. So if you're cleaning out, now's a good time to start and put that stuff aside and register to be a part of that event. Our programs and classes, like I said, are pretty much the same. We do have some new ones. Some of our acting camps are new. We have a Tabata on Tuesdays, which is a class. It's at 6 o'clock on Tuesday nights now. It's an exercise class, workout class. And then we have a beach boot camp on Saturday, which they're going to work out and go to the beach. But they didn't do that this Saturday because the weather was a little bit too cold. So they chose to stay inside. But we look forward to attendance in those classes building. They're such good classes. We also have a meditation class. It's going to be on Thursday nights at 6:30 now. We have one Thursday mornings, but we've extended that due to some requests from people. We're also starting a game room on Fridays from 12 to 3 that people would come. We'll have board games set up, probably geared more towards our seniors, but anybody that wants to can come in and participate in some board games. We're starting a beginning table tennis league. Our table tennis league is pretty competitive. So we want to open it up to maybe some of those folks that aren't quite as competitive so they can be a part of that as well. We continue to work on our rec track upgrades. We're almost there. We're just now tweaking the online payments. So I hope within a couple of weeks, we'll have full blown online payments, registration and payments. Our athletics, our usual, we're beginning our registration for 3-on-3 basketball, 6v6 soccer, our adult table tennis league. And like I said, we're starting a new one for beginners. And those registrations start soon. I don't see the date right away, but I know it's this month. Our youth athletics, we just finished up soccer. We're now in basketball season. That started last week. And then we have our parks and facilities, which is, the cleaning and sanitation of the facility, the inside maintenance, and of course, our parks and grounds duties and responsibilities. We've listed all those for you as well. We just let you know, our staff put the Christmas tree up at the front beach. We'll be taking that down this week in the cold weather, I suppose. We also hung the bows on all the street signs. I hope you saw them coming down Palm Boulevard. And of course, we decorated the rec center as well. So, I did want to point out that Aaron Sweet, who is our recreation supervisor responsible for athletics, attended the state conference where he received his certification for the South Carolina LEAD class, which is South Carolina Leadership Enhancement and Development Institute. So he graduated from that this year. So we're real proud of him and his endeavors. I also have attached a calendar for the month of January so you can see how busy we are at the rec center. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those.
Excellent report. Any questions?
This guide is just wonderful, by the way. Hope you all got a copy of it.
I handed it out to them. Yes. It's also online. If you go to iop.net, you go to the recreation splash page, you can click on the guide and see everything we have going on.
Okay, moving on to old business. Item A, update the implementation of online registration program.
I kind of covered that in the
So-
report. We're still working on it, but we hope to have it up and running really, really soon.
Is there anything we need to do as a committee?
No,
right now?
sir.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, but I do have a question about the Easter brunch. Is
Yes.
that the Easter egg hunt too, or not?
We are not going to do the hunt this year
Okay,
because of COVID. We're trying to scale down a little bit. It seems as though our numbers were getting pretty huge with that. Parking was becoming a problem.
Right.
And it was not, we had a lot of people visiting from the community, neighboring communities. So we decided to do something similar to what we did last year. Let island residents have the opportunity to register for that.
Yeah,
So we make sure that we are taking care of our island residents.
I totally agree. It says Isle of Palms residents only. And
Yes, sir.
yeah, I totally agree. Thing was just getting so huge.
It was getting big. Yeah,
Yeah, thank you.
sure.
Anything else? Item B, discussion of return of Sunday Recreation Center hours.
I would tell you, nothing has changed since the last meeting. We're just are not staffed for that at this time. Our resources of part-time help is slim. I went back and looked. In 2015, we had 11 part-time. And let me explain, our part-time isn't like public safety where they have beach patrol that work 8 to 5 or whatever their duties are, and they have a set number. We just always hired part-time to cover whatever events and programs we have going on and where we need assistance. And in 2015, we had 11, 2017, we had 9, and right now I have 4. And one of those works Saturdays, and right now can't work Saturdays because he's playing high school basketball. And so he's limited when he can play. The other 3 are part-time, seniors, and 2 will only work games. So full-time staff's having to pick up the slack when it comes to scoring and watching the facility. And I was sharing with Councilman Popson a while ago. This morning, we've had an instructor out for 2 weeks sick, not COVID related, just sick. So we've been teaching those classes. Carrie's been teaching those. We have a teacher this morning that had the sniffles. So Kathy, one of our other instructors, filled in for her. Then I have an instructor that had to go get surgery with dermatologist. So Janae's was filling in for her this morning. So I'm watching the rec center. So those are the challenges we have because we are a small staff. And if an instructor's out, I don't have someone sitting on the sidelines to fill in. So we fill in when we can because these people pay for these classes and programs. So we have to get creative with our scheduling.
Mr. Chair, it sounds like to me it's a reasonable explanation, and I don't think we need to discuss it further. It needs to be taken off the agenda, and Norma Jean will let us know when her staffing comes back to pre-COVID levels.
I will do that.
She'll let us know. I suggest that, we just go with that.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do we have are we actively looking for a Sunday, somebody to work Sundays? I mean, is there a job application out there or?
We have actively been searching for part-time staffing, period.
Okay.
And we just aren't getting any applications. And Aaron works Saturday, so he's not here today to help us cover the facility because he works Saturday duty.
And I agree with Councilman Ward. I was reading the minutes of last meeting and Councilman Pound suggested keeping the item on the agenda till it was resolved, but I'm like Councilman Ward, if we don't have the staff, we don't have the staff. So no sense in talking about it anymore. I guess if we do come around to the point of finding somebody or having somebody, then we can revisit it.
Okay.
So do we need to take a vote or anything?
No, I will say though that last year or the year before, it was a priority for the Recreation Committee and Council, which is why the line item in the budget for part-time wages was included or was increased at the time. So the budget assumes that continues to be a priority. I know that we'll continue to work on our end to make sure that we can, restore that if it is still a priority of this group and the community. But regardless of not putting it on the agenda, it'll continue to be a priority for us. So once that we have part-time folks available, then we can restore that. Because it was something that this committee heard a lot about, wanting to have that option for Sundays, particularly in the off season when it's cold out, when people are looking for indoor activities to do. In the summer, we don't have that much participation anyway. But we'll continue to work on that. I don't think that there's any action required
Okay,
of the committee.
all right. Moving on, new business. Report of emergency replacement of the John Deere tractor.
Our John Deere tractor died. We deferred it in the budget for next year, but that's one piece of equipment that we use quite a bit with the, to fertilize the fields, to spray the fields, to put additional dirt on the infields, and to, we use it a lot, and it died. So I went to the city administrator and I did find some money in my budget. We deferred some other items that we were going to do this year to pay for this. So it shouldn't, we shouldn't go over budget. We just deferred some things. And one was a treadmill because our cardio room is not being used as quite as much as it was. So I felt like we could defer that to next year. So.
Do you need any action from us?
No. We will, so the city administrator per the procurement code has the ability to approve emergency purchases, and this was documented as an emergency in a memo that we've included in the packet. My plan is to present it to Ways and Means, just, for y'all's approval. It's not listed on the agenda here as an action item, but, expect to see it at the Ways and Means agenda as a sort of an after action item. But we're compliant with the code, with me approving that as an emergency purchase. It's documented, and we feel confident that some of just like Norma Jean mentioned, that some purchases can be deferred until the next fiscal year, and this one could be covered without going over budget. So yeah, no action today, but we'll probably next week at Ways and Means.
I do have two questions.
Sure.
And if it's in this report, I missed it, sorry.
That's okay.
So are you looking for a used tractor or a new tractor?
No, we purchased a new one on state contract.
Okay, wonderful.
And I would say that the Public Works Department oftentimes borrow our tractor too. So we kind of share it with them.
And then nothing about how much.
Yes, and that was my mistake. I didn't include it on the agenda, but the amount was 24,527, I believe. So well within those two items that we deferred in the budget. I'll make sure that the Ways and Means agenda has it.
I figured it'd be coming up the Ways and Means, but I was curious.
No, I should have put it in there, but I did write it down to make sure that I mentioned it today at the meeting to you all. But yeah, 24,500.
Wonderful. Anything else on that? Next item, miscellaneous business. Next meeting date, 11 a.m. Monday, February 7th. Councilman Ward.
Is there any appetite from the committee and staff about meeting later in the day? Mondays mornings are extremely hectic in my office. I know everybody's busy. I just wanted to inquire. What do you think, Norma Jean?
I don't know that we have to meet on Mondays if that's not a good day. I'm flexible. Oh, sorry.
I have 5 other meetings, committee meetings. This used to be at 8 and we pushed it to 11. We have on Mondays, we have 1:30 p.m. We have real property.
It's okay.
We can meet after real property. We can meet at 3 if that works.
Does that fit in with staff?
Well, I don't have anything after, I have 1:30 real property. I know
Real
the two of
property.
you all are on that committee, but
Right.
that would mean that real property could not exceed an hour
What if we push this back to 12:30?
or 12:30.
I mean, because, at 3 o'clock I would much prefer not to do 3 o'clock on Monday.
Mhm.
But it would also, I've not been in many of these meetings. Do they typically last more than an hour for recreation?
Recreation
not.
shouldn't really last more than 30
From
minutes.
my perspective, it would be nice to go back to back, you know, to not have, because basically now I'm gonna have. dead
Will you say
time.
12:30?
I mean, if that
Yes, fine.
suits y'all, and if it
That
would
helps
work,
me a lot.
and if it
yeah.
would work with,
Yeah,
I mean, it might just be easier to have it.
Sure, I
you
mean,
know.
that's fine. If there's any, if there's for some reason any topic on this agenda, we just have to be cognizant that if 1:30, we already have the other one. In terms of, you know.
the only time I can see there may be an issue is budget time.
Mhm. And at that time, we can maybe start those
And that-
meetings at 12.
That's what I was,
Yeah.
because we'll know that ahead of time if it's gonna be a big issue and we can
Right.
just make it
Yeah.
a little earlier.
We can do that. We can change
mean-
and then just plan on doing that for the rest of the year. First
Okay.
Monday, 12:30,
Okay,
and we'll make sure those changes are reflected on the website.
very good.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Last is adjournment. Do I have a motion to
Motion to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Are the mics off?